In the middle of the Pacific Ocean, there is a mysterious island isolated from civilization, Rapa Nui. We know it as Easter Island. But what makes this island special is not its nature, location, or history. It is the giant stone statues lined up along the coast, their faces turned toward the sky, the Moai, who created these colossal figures. Why did they create them? And how did these structures, weighing tons, manage to stand tall for centuries, gazing out at the ocean? Some believe they carry the spirits of their ancestors, while others claim these statues are part of a curse. But the truth may be even darker than the legends. This video tells not only the story of the stones, but also the traces, beliefs, and demise of a forgotten people. If you're ready, let's explore the unknowns behind the Moai statues together. Sculptures, what, where, how many? In the depths of the Pacific Ocean lies Easter Island, one of the most isolated places in the world. On this small island, there are over 900 massive stone statues. These statues are called Moai, and each one ranges in size from 4 to 10 meters on average. Some weigh up to 80 tons. That's huge. The faces of the Moai typically represent the ancestors of the island's people and are believed to protect the island as they face the shore. However, these statues are not just stone blocks. Each one holds a mysterious story, belief, and technical mastery behind it. On one hand, how they were made, and on the other, why there are so many of them, remain a great mystery for historians and archaeologists to solve. Now, let's uncover the mystery behind these stone giants together. Why the theories were created. So, why were these massive stone statues built? The purpose behind the Moai has been explained by many different theories throughout history. According to the most common belief, the Rapa Nui people erected these statues to honor and protect the spirits of their ancestors. The faces of the Moai were positioned to look out over the villages surrounding the island, so that the protective spirits of their ancestors could protect the people from bad luck, natural disasters, and enemies. However, some researchers believe that the statues were not just tributes, but also symbols of social power and status. The large and ostentatious Moai were built to demonstrate the power and prestige of the clans. On the other hand, some mysterious theories suggest that these statues served a cosmic or mystical purpose. For example, there are legends that aliens helped the Rapa Nui people and that the Moai are star maps. Whatever the truth may be, the Moai are not just stones. They stand as massive symbols of the Rapa Nui people's beliefs, struggles, and identity. Now, let's delve a bit deeper into the mysteries behind these stones. How did they move? Legend or science? So, how were these massive Moai statues transported to different parts of the island? They weigh hundreds of tons. There were no wheels or modern vehicles. For centuries, this question has puzzled both scientists and adventurers. Local legends say that the Moai were moved by a spiritual power called mana. According to this narrative, the statues seemed to come to life, rising from their places with invisible forces and walking to the island's peaks. However, scientists have made this legend a bit more concrete. Experiments and research show that the stones were transported by being walked, that is, by using ropes to control the swaying of the statues, making them move as if they were walking. This method did not damage the statues and made it possible to move their enormous weights. How was this possible? It required years of planning, cooperation, and incredible engineering skill. Here, we see how skilled the Rapa Nui people were, not only in stone carving, but also in stone transportation techniques. No matter how fascinating the mystery may be, the facts reveal the incredible intelligence and determination of this people. Who did it? The people of Rapa Nui or others? Who made the Moai statues? This question remains one of Easter Island's greatest mysteries. For many years, some theories suggested that these massive stone figures were built by aliens or other lost civilizations. However, science and archaeology have largely debunked these claims. The generally accepted view today is that the Moai were built by the Rapa Nui people over centuries, with great effort and dedication. The Rapa Nui are a Polynesian people who developed their own culture, beliefs, and way of life on the island over thousands of years. The Moai rose as a symbol of respect for their ancestors and a display of power. However, this process was not easy. Resources on the island were limited, and the construction and transportation of the statues created significant social and environmental pressure. Some believe that this strain led to devastating consequences for the island's ecosystem. In short, the Moai statues are not just stone, they are a reflection of the Rapa Nui people's resilience, faith, and sometimes tragedy. Now, let's take a closer look at who this people are and the true meaning of the Moai in their lives. Mysterious details. Easter Island and the Moai statues are not just giant stone figures. They also hold countless secrets and mysteries. For example, why were the eyes of the statues left blank for so long? In fact, the eyes of the original Moai were made of special red and white stones and were only inserted during important rituals. This was a sign that the statues were not just stone blocks, but represented living spirits. Additionally, there are unfinished and partially carved Moai statues on the island, as if something sudden had happened during the construction process. Some historians believe that sudden environmental changes or internal conflicts on the island caused the construction of the statues to be abandoned. Another interesting detail is the walking Moai tracks found in different parts of the island. Some researchers believe these tracks are the paths along which the statues were transported. However, how and why these tracks appeared remains unclear. Even more mysterious is that when excavations are conducted behind some Moai, hidden carvings and symbols emerge from beneath them, indicating that the statues are much more than just the massive stone figures visible on the surface. All these details contribute to Easter Island and the Moai statues, remaining both fascinating and unsolved mysteries throughout history. The arrival and decline of the Europeans. The peaceful and mysterious world of Easter Island entered a completely different era with the arrival of European sailors in the 18th century. In 1722, when Dutch captain Jacob Roggevaan discovered the island, the scene he encountered was both fascinating and tragic. The Moai statues still stood, but the Rapa Nui people living on the island were struggling with years of resource scarcity, internal conflicts, and ecological issues. The arrival of Europeans brought with it unknown diseases, the slave trade, and the harsh interventions of religious missionaries. These effects shook the island's social structure, causing the population to decline rapidly and many cultural values to fade into obscurity. The Moai statues, meanwhile, were toppled, broken, or destroyed over time. Some researchers believe that the destruction of the statues symbolized the despair and conflicts experienced by the people. For Rapa Nui, this was not only the collapse of a civilization, but also a battle for identity and culture. Nevertheless, the island's mystery and the allure of the Moai statues continue to make it one of the most compelling stories in world history, even centuries later. The Moai statues of Easter Island are not just silent witnesses to the past. They convey a very important message to us today. These stone giants, erected thousands of years ago on a remote island by a people's faith, determination, and creativity, also tell us about the fragile balance between nature and humans, the environmental challenges, social conflicts, and cultural changes faced by the Rapa Nui. People are a small yet powerful reflection of the issues we encounter in today's world. The silent stance of the Moai reminds us of the importance of protecting nature, preserving our culture, and learning from the past. These massive statues, emerging from the dusty pages of history, carry an unforgettable lesson from human history. Power and grandeur can only be sustained through respect and balance. Today, we can shape our future by drawing inspiration from these silent giants of the past. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and leave your comments, because we'll be diving into the depths of history together many more times.